What's up? What's up? What's up? I want to welcome everybody to the Billy Graham Jr. TV show, and I appreciate everybody for turning in. I know you've had a great day. It's been a wonderful week for you, but man, do we have a treat for you tonight. Man, we have a gentleman that is going to change your mind. It's like a mind-blowing emoji. Just, God has nothing but jewels. He's here to drop nothing but nuggets. He's into the business and credit restoration. And when you think about it, when it comes to budgeting your money and everything like that, restoring your credit so you can do the things that you need to do in life. But this guy has a couple of other secrets that hopefully he shares with us on this show. And if he doesn't, you know what I'm going to do best. Try to pull it out of him. Because you know, and I both know, the purpose of this show is to show you business owners and different personalities that are living in their purpose using the gifts that God gave them. And I know that they can help you learn to live in your purpose. So I'm not going to hold up the show any longer. I'm not going to keep this guy waiting. The guy stays in Georgia now. We'll talk about that on another part of this conversation. But all the way from Georgia, it is my good friend, Kenny Wright Gross.
What's going on, my brother? How you doing, man?
What's going on, Kenny, man? How you doing over there, man?
Man, I'm feeling something like fabulous, man. Like I feel pretty good today, to be honest. It's been a good day.
So for you to be feeling that good and having such a great day, something had to happen. You know how they say when somebody say they had a bad day, something happened. Besides waking up this morning, what happened?
If I'm being honest, man, nothing like specific today. It has to do probably more with just where I've been in the flow over the last few weeks. And so I just been very intentional about counting my blessings and appreciating every day for what it is, another opportunity. So, not trying to sound all deep, but like nothing like today. Like I didn't get the people that knock on the door like with a big check in their hand, or what I'm saying. Been waiting on the clearinghouse for a couple of years now. They ain't pulled up on me, but just been a good day, man. Like just truly blessed. Yeah, that's it, man. Nothing specific, but it's been a good day.
Well, you're not alone. I've been waiting on that clearinghouse since my grandma back in the 80s and early 90s had me scratching.
Exactly.
Like, it's gonna be our day today, baby. Like
I just knew for sure somebody in the family was gonna get it.
But you said you wasn't gonna get too deep, and I know the viewers out there aren't gonna accept that because they love to watch everybody get deep. So I want you to get I'm telling you, we gonna dive in, we gonna get real deep, because without even knowing it, you dropped the first nugget of the day about being intentional with your blessings.
Listen, yeah. So you know what? Intentional. It's funny. I didn't even say that on purpose, but that has been my word here lately, man. Like, so that's funny that you said that. Like, everything intentional, man. Like everything on purpose with purpose, and I thought that was perfect. That's what the theme was. But that's where I've been, man. Like, I spent too much of my life just kind of going with the flow, so to speak, and not really doing things with intention. And so now, because I always thought, like, because I'm a creative type, I always thought, I don't want to be, over structured and whatever. But it was an unlearn and relearn. Like I thought that the two couldn't coexist. I thought they were opposites, but they work so beautifully together. And so I'm enjoying the creative spontaneity of life, but I'm also enjoying what being intentional produces. So yeah, being intentionally thankful, being intentionally structured with the things that I want to accomplish. Yeah, man. So yeah, intention. Yeah, that's definitely my word, man.
I'm gonna have to go get me a shovel because you digging deep already, and we ain't even. I know, and I'm loving it because you just told us that. Because I've never really said it on this show, and you just did, and I'm happy you did. A lot of people think that when you're living in your purpose and then you use the word God in the same sentence, that people automatically think, oh, that takes all the fun out of it. But you just told us right then that creative process that you have, how you can mesh being creative and having fun and enjoying life and being intentional about using the God-given purpose that you have to bring them together to align your life to go in the same direction. And you're speaking of that creativity, because we got Mama Made It, my girl Goldie on the line. She's one of those creative ones that, man, and she said you hit the nail on the head. And I have to agree with her. You hit it on the head. And when you're talking about being creative and intentional, obviously that did something for not just your life, but the dynamics for your family. So what did you do creative and intentionally that brought something together that started a business? I think it is you were telling me about. How did that creativity and intentionality come together to start your business?
Oh, wow.
Don't worry, I got my shovel still.
All right. So, man, the WG brand, right? That's the last name, right? Gross. But God, actually, it's crazy, bro. Like when I was going back to my phone, I started working on a logo concept, like it's like maybe 4 years ago for the WG brand. The logo looks way different, but the concept was planted. I didn't really even know what it was going to look like. I had no idea. I was like, what? It just came to me. But it just had to do with, man, how do you, it's layers to it. So
give them all to us.
But there was a few pieces. One of the pieces was just looking at different companies that the products and services that we use that we're probably super familiar with, and the understanding that those brand and those companies are people's last names, right?
Okay.
We use them as words, as brands, as phrases, as whatever, but it was just someone's last name that they put on a product or service. And basically God was just saying, why don't you do the same thing? And then he took me, like I said, it got deeper. So he took me to, like, for example, in the scripture, it says the God of Abraham, right?
Yeah.
People were able to even recognize the creator by the person that they were engaging with, right? And there was a connection, an association. So your name is very significant. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, the God of David, the God, on and on and on and on, whatever. So your name and your name brand has always been relevant since way back. And I was just like, okay, God, like that was heavy. Like, I don't know what to do with that. But not just for the sake of you, but for the sake of the generations, that come from you. And so I was like, okay, that's heavy. And so I was like, okay, I definitely don't want to just ignore that. But I was like, I don't know what to do with that. And then from there, just more and more things started, more and more business meetings and presentations started coming. And I just was like, okay, I think I get it. I was like, I think I get it. It was starting to, become more and more clear. Fast forward to this year, where after being involved in different business ventures, and also feeling like I had to separate those things, right? So that was another piece that was a struggle. It's like, okay, like I mentioned, being creative. So I make music. Well, how does music go with coaching, or how does music go with finances? How does So it was just like, okay, but the WG brand is all that I am, all that God has put inside of me. For a lot of my life, I felt like I had to pick a thing to be my, this one thing is my thing. But it doesn't have to be one thing as a thing. It's you. You are the brand. Everything that you are, every gift that you have. We look at like a Bo Jackson or a Deion Sanders or whatever. They're anomalies because they were able to be successful in what seemed like impossible contrasting arenas. Oh, if you're a football player, you can't be a good baseball player. Well, that's not true. If you know what I mean? Like, anyway, you get the gist of it. People have been in different business marketplace arenas, whether it be real estate, music, in the actual art, painters, things like that. I can think of all these people who have all these different diverse interests, and they found a way to make them work cohesively without being a conflict of the brand. So anyway, as God was working through all of that and helping me to understand that everything that I put inside of you don't have to just pick one thing. I want you to actually manifest all of it and walk in it, because that's part of your purpose. And this is going to attract this people group and allow you to be a blessing to them. And this is going to attract this people group and allow you to be a blessing to them. And some of them going to like all of it and, whatever.
Yep.
So fast forward 2021, the opportunity was presented to me to get involved with my primary platform now, which is financial literacy, where we're dealing with budgeting and emphasis on credit restoration and credit building. And so I was like, okay, but does this really fit? He was like, I already gave you the answer. I was like, all right, cool. So I just was like, I ain't even finna play with it, ran with it, put it together, and it's been going since then. Now, out of this is birthing my coaching. Out of this is, my consulting. I'm still connecting with my music, still just in diverse audiences. But hey, this is me. This is what you get. It's not like I have to put on one hat, then take that hat off, and then put on another hat. I am the WG brand. Everything that's inside of me, when you see me, what you pull on is what you're gonna get. So I hope that was
No. You hit the nail on the head. Like that's what Goldie said. Like when you said the WG brand, you are the WG brand. So basically, you just told everybody we need to brand ourselves, not just because of us, but for the generations that are coming behind us. And when you said that, something popped into my mind. I thought about, like, me and my family, we love to eat Mexican food. And we go to the Mexican restaurant. Before we walk in the door, I swear to myself, every single time, I swear to myself, you know what? I'm going to try something different today at this Mexican restaurant. I don't know if it's going to be tacos, nachos, burritos. I'm trying something different. And then as soon as I sit down at that table, and you've probably seen this happen before, the waiter just walks by with that pan, and it's just sizzling. And you're like, oh my God, that smells so good. And then you're looking all over at the person pan sizzling. It could be sizzling steak, chicken, whatever. And what do? Every single time I walk in, knowing I wanted to get something different, I order something that's sizzling, which is the fajitas. So what you're telling people to do by branding themselves, you're basically telling them that they need to sell the sizzle, because people want that sizzle that you have. Only you can sizzle like you sizzle. Nobody else can. And so that popped in my mind. I'm like, man, that's it. That's exactly what it is. Because you just said you had the credit restoration, which I'm gonna get onto that in just a second. You said about the music side of things, like you had the coaching side of things, like they all three are different avenues. But by you being the brand, you're selling your sizzle in each one. And when people come into contact with you, they know I want the WG brand, and then it's gonna build for the generations behind. Now, with that, sell the sizzle. Sell the sizzle.
Yeah.
Hey, write that. Everybody take notes. Write that down.
Yeah.
You are the sizzle. Sell the sizzle. But you said the three different things. I know about the credit restoration, but you mentioned coaching. Yes. What kind of coaching are you talking about?
Okay. So, again, long story short. So years and years ago, which, we kind of touched on that. I don't know if I want to go in there yet, because
I still got my shovel though.
Yeah. I got you. So I've always been in positions where people come to me, which I value. Like I don't say that in any type of like arrogant way, but people come to me for advice or for counsel, and sometimes it's something small, sometimes it's something life-changing, and I've just been gifted with a certain level of wisdom that has been able to speak to their situation. That has taken me on the journey where I've been a counselor. I've been a youth pastor. I've been just even in certain job situations where I was like the mediator. But all of that under one umbrella was just, I, I guess it all fell together with coaching. So and that what that I guess essentially comes down to is speaking to people's purpose, right? Whatever
Okay.
situation that they're dealing with, um, that's really the answer. So whether it's with a husband and a wife,
Mm-hmm.
um, where and they're having conflict. Okay, well, what is your individual purpose, and then what is your purpose together? What is the purpose of this marriage? And I can
Yep.
speak and advise and kind of just, and I like coach better than some of the other terms which can apply, but I'm just going to give you the plays, but you got to get out there on the field and execute the play. You know what I mean? Like, uh, and that's kind
Hold on. You just said something.
of
I can't let you go by this because you just said I give you the plays. I want people to understand when you're operating in your purpose, you have a playbook. God gives you a playbook. Nobody in their purpose. I don't care what you do in life. Nobody says I'm going on vacation and just walks out the door, get in the car and drive. They make some kind of plan. We're going to stop and get gas here. We got to pack for this type of weather. You have some kind of plan. And when you're in a purpose, you have a plan. You have a playbook, a blueprint. You have something.
yeah.
And when you have that, the people that you're helping, you're giving the playbook to them. That's your gift. Your gift is the playbook. You're giving it to them, and they're going out on the field, operating in their purpose, whether it be football field, quarterback, wide receiver, running back. Everybody has a position, and you're using your playbook to help people go out into the world, the field, and use their gifts to operate in their purpose. So when you hear coach, don't just think, oh, I'm a life coach, a purpose coach. Or when you hear teacher, I'm just not a math teacher or a science teacher. When you hear these different people operating in their purpose, they're using their playbook, their blueprint, their plan to help you go out into the field of life, the world, and operate in your purpose. I'm sorry, go ahead, keep going. You just said that, and I couldn't let you go by that.
Yeah, that was solid. And I had to kind of, I won't say wrestle with that, but I definitely had to settle that because there's sometimes an assumption like, oh, you must have your life together and have it figured out. And it's like, yeah, on some things, but not like, I ain't swinging, I ain't batting 100 or batting 1,000, as they say. But there's some things that I've been able to figure out to a degree that is valuable to share with someone else. And so when I can speak into that situation based on experience or based on observation or whatever, I mean, I'm overjoyed to be able to speak into someone's life and see them be successful, see them get the victory, see them win. And so that's another part of the WG brand is, and you'll see my hashtag everywhere is winning guaranteed, right? It's like,
well, winning guaranteed.
Winning guaranteed, because it's never really a loss. It's just when you learn, it's still a win. You know what I mean? As long as it's about perspective, about mindset, how you view the situation, how you view the outcome. If you view it that every opportunity is still a win, then you know what I'm saying, then winning is guaranteed. And so that's part of the brand as well. You know what I'm saying? So just throwing that out there. But speaking to people in a way that helps them to see that that view. It's not always, oh, I lost, or it was a failure, or it was a missed opportunity or whatever. It's how do I see the win in it? How do I still see the victory in it? My friend, my good mentor and friend Jamal Payne helps me with that because there are times when I still get frustrated with different situations, and like I said, this is just again a testament to not the perfection of it, but still my belief system, my mindset is still, once I settle down and get out my feelings, I'm still looking for the win, right? And so I love that, man. And so when that came to me, that was an additional blessing as well. So just helping people see the win, and then how does this get me back on track or focused closer to fulfilling my purpose? How does this get me closer to the goal, closer to the finish? Boom. What is the purpose of this struggle, this trial, this experience that I can actually, use and apply. So yeah, man, that's yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna use that hashtag winning
Hey,
guarantee.
winning guaranteed. Come on with it.
Because you said you don't bat 1,000, but what you just said knocked it out the park. We said there are no losses, they're just lessons. And there aren't failures, because failures, they put you in your feelings. But I'm here to tell you, Kenny just told you in so many words, it's facts over feelings. And the honest truth behind all this is when you hit a road bump, it's not a failure, it's not a loss. It's God showing you something to help you strengthen your purpose. And man, I know you're killing it, because our boy Ernest out there talking about you preaching. Let's go, WG. And my mama tuning in. She always there. Mama got to be there for the baby. Talking about operating in your purpose, and that is good. I'm telling you, man, you digging deep. But you did. I remember I told you we went on the coach. I heard you. You coached basically everywhere, from the church to the kids to the adults, and that led you into credit restoration and also budgeting. So it makes me wonder. How did that coaching transfer over to that? I know you're still coaching. You can't turn that hat off. But how did that turn over where you added a second hat of that?
Okay. So it was actually 2 layers to it. Again, everything with layers, right? So there was a stage in my life where I kind of felt like I was making some good choices, and things were going well, and then I hit a road bump that I was like, oh, I don't like that there. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. And so from that, there were things that were affecting my life in the area of finances.
Okay.
And so I remember having a credit score that was like phenomenal, and getting 0% here and there, and like things was like, oh yeah, I can do this. But in truth, if I'm being a whole 100% honest, it wasn't because I was like super financially literate. It was more so like I made some decent choices and just didn't mess it up, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm being honest, but now that I had to rebuild it and get back on track, I didn't really have the knowledge base for it. I did not know how to do it intentionally. I didn't know how to build it on purpose, right? And so I was just like out here grasping, just trying to figure some things out. And you get different information from different people, and sometimes you're looking at their life like, I don't know if I want to, I take that into consideration, but so last year, 2020 hit, and when I thought I was going to get back on track, things got worse.
For everybody.
Yeah. So it just left me really just like disappointed and broken, and a couple other things. I got back into the workforce, which I thought I was going to be free from some other business ventures that I started previously, which were also kind of, I guess you would say, loosely associated, but in the financial arena. I was doing insurance and stuff like that, and was building from there. I won't digress too much on that, but I had some good momentum that I really thought was going to carry me.
Yeah.
And just because of different shifts, that didn't happen. So then I'm back in the workforce. I also during that time had made a promise to myself that I would start investing, like in stocks and things like that. Because I always knew I wanted to, but again, I just didn't have the knowledge base. So I was doing all this research. I probably was overthinking it, and I was dragging my feet. Ran into, again, not to hype him up too much, but it was the right connect at the right time. So reconnected with my friend Jamal, who I didn't know had gone to school he was a finance major, and so we've hung out. I mean, over the years, I don't know how many times. We just never talked finances, and so it just came up one day, and I was like, bro, I just really want to punch you in the chin right now. Why you ain't been telling me this? He was like, it came up. So true story. Like I was like, wow. So we started talking, and he was telling me, some very valid information that I felt like I needed. It resonated with what I had been studying. And I was like, okay, this is what I need. And then he says, plus I started going to credit restoration, et cetera. So I can help you with the, all that baggage that was carrying over from the past. This will help you with that. It'll also help you with you're not having to work 2 and 3 jobs, which was, that was stressing me because I'm away from my family.
Yeah.
I'm a big family man. I'm father. I got, that many of them. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa. Time out. You're not finna flash past.
got that many of them.
We're not finna run past that. You said some stuff before you told us that you got 10 kids. You said some stuff. So
yeah.
So I'm not even feeling like, because we keep it honest over here.
Yeah.
When you said you had to, because COVID, let's be honest, that was one, I think that pandemic didn't just knock you back, it knocked the world back.
Right.
And at that moment in time, people had a decision to make. They could either lay over and do nothing, or they can get up and do something. And you hit on something when you said about procrastination and dragging your feet. Because I will tell you, one of the most disrespectful things you can do to God is be procrastinator. Now, I'm not saying you can't take breaks and you can't go on vacations. I'm not saying that. When you're procrastinating and living in the purpose that he has designed for you, you're basically being disrespectful to him. And you said you weren't going to be disrespectful. So what did you do? You had that vision of you didn't want to return to the workplace, but you knew in order to get from there to here, you had to do something, which was move your feet and not be disrespectful. So you joined the workforce, but I see why, because with 10 kids, you can't sit around. When you look in that mirror, you see your 2 eyes, but you also got 22, including your wife, 22 more eyes looking back at you. They don't want to see you sitting on that couch being a procrastinator, because now that disrespect just went from being disrespectful to God to not, because you said you're a family man, to not owning up to the thing that you said you would do when you and your wife made kids, which was be the provider and the head and the leader of that household. So you couldn't sit back.
Right.
And you had to get on your purpose, which, go ahead, dive into it, because I got some more, but you got something else you was about to say that I was finna pick up on.
I mean, so I guess to narrow in on that, it allowed me to get my time back. And to be present, right? One of the, and I didn't make this up. I thought I did, but I seen it a few other places. But presence over presence, right?
Say it again.
Presence over presence.
No. Say it one more time for the people, because you don't realize Frankie out there laughing because he's having a great time, and Mama Draper sitting out there talking about, wow, that's deep. And Usher time in with the don't be disrespectful by procrastinating. So I need you to say that very clear for the viewers so that they get what you just said, because that's a nugget right there.
So yeah, man, yeah. I'm laughing at these comments. I seen Usher C4C, shout out to, maybe we'll circle back to that. But yeah.
No, we're going to we're going to. You go ahead. You gonna keep dropping nuggets. I'll bring you back around.
All right. But yeah, man, like being present is way more than any present that I can purchase for my children. There it is. Presence over presence. And so I wanted to be there. That was something that I promised even before I had children, is that my children will know a very interactive and present father. I'm not just going to make them and then just be, gone somewhere. And so that was mandatory. But I also know, like you was talking about, like I still got responsibilities. These bills not going to pay themselves. Nope. And so I had to do what I had to do until the opportunity, which is, what I'm doing now, presented itself. And so when it presented itself, I was like, it hit all the boxes. You know what I mean? Check down the list. I was like, that's it. It allows me to take care of my family. It allows me to be present with my family. And it allows me to operate in my gifting of teaching and pouring into people. But also it solved the need for what my financial situation was, which was, my credit score had plummeted. And so I needed the services anyway. And so, and then also my friend who's involved already is going to be there. So there's a partnership there, which is something that I was telling God, I was like, man, I've done these other ventures, and I've had some success. Like I did decent. Like I'm not not gonna cry, but it didn't sustain. There were some pieces missing, and one other thing that I had been talking to God about was having people around me. I've learned the value of not being the smartest person in the room.
Whew. Say that again for
him. I've learned the value of not being the smartest person in the room. And so for so much of my life, and again, I'm thankful that people can come to me. And I'm thankful that I've been able to be a blessing and have answers and pour into them. But also sometimes we need to be poured into. We need to sit down and take notes. We need to have somebody point out the vulnerable spots or the chinks in our armor, right? Because that chink in the armor is really where that's where you can get killed. Right? I mean, like that's where it's over with. Like everything else is protected. All they got to do is find that one vulnerability, and then it's a wrap. And so I was super, super thankful that prayer was answered, that I was connected with someone who could speak to me from an honest perspective, as my friend, as my business partner, who can give me the tools that I need if I'm missing something. Hey, bro, have you considered this? Have you given thought to that? Maybe your mindset on this, maybe your perspective on this isn't where it needs to be. And so then I can just be like, okay, take me a moment, because when you're the guy and there's no one there to really give you checks and balances, I mean, if there is a vulnerable spot, you just kind of learn to operate with it, and you never really address it. Hey, I'm winning over here. I'm just winning over here, and just I deal with that later, but that becomes February 31st, and it just don't happen, and so I was very thankful for that. So not only did the opportunity, but the pieces that came with it, the system that came with it, the mentorship that came with it, the brotherhood that came with it, all of that was a package deal. And on top of that, could be home with the family as needed, could still be present and involved as needed. And then on top of that, I get to still be a blessing and help as many people as possible. And I was like, okay, God, how can I say no? This is a no-brainer.
You can't say no.
Everything fit. And so I was still working because I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna build this up gradually and then make that transition. But it didn't work out quite like that. The job was getting in the way of my purpose.
I was waiting on you to say it because I could see it.
Yeah. So connected with we went to, I know what it was. We went to convention and met. So it was bad enough that my brother was there with me and that kindredness, but to go and there were hundreds and hundreds of people like-minded, purpose-driven, living it. And that synergy was there, man. That synergy was so crazy. Like you could just feel it in the room. And then to go back to work. So Monday morning, so after that, Monday morning, everybody in there, their spirits are low, they're dragging their feet,
Yeah.
I come in, I'm up here, like, yeah. And I'm like, man, what you gonna do with this and your life? And what's your plans? What's your goals? I'm just trying to make it to lunch, bro. Okay.
I'm just here for my 9 to 5. I'm going home and cook dinner and sit on the couch and watch TV.
That's it. What you gonna do? What you gonna do after that? Boom. And then, like I said, I had gotten several promotions in a short amount of time. I knew my next promotion was going to have to wait. I knew that the bigger promotion was actually going to have to be when someone else retired.
Yeah.
There was maybe one more lateral move that I could have made that, would, but honestly, it wasn't going anywhere, you know what I'm saying, to a point where it would have, it just wasn't sustainable, right? And it wasn't fulfilling.
Exactly.
So Tuesday comes. And I was just sitting there and look, and then like all these ideas were coming. I was like, man, okay, I'm writing it down, because I'm trying to, and I go back to work, write it down, By lunchtime, I called baby. I said, listen, I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. And I told her what I was thinking. She said, you feel strongly about it? I said, I do. She said, okay. I was like, okay, like that's it. She was like, okay, I trust you. I'm gonna support you. If you feel like that's what it is, then that's what it is. All right.
You just said something right there.
Yes, sir.
You just told people, make sure you got the right support system in your life.
Absolutely.
Because your wife, if she would have said anything else, you probably would still be sitting at that job.
Very likely.
But your wife, by supporting you, she understood what Goldie understood. Sitting in that job was not going to get you, what she say, the 33rd of Neverary. You weren't going nowhere with that job. Because you said it about being the smartest person in the room. And I want people to understand this. So throughout life, you're going to have mentors. You're going to have people that help you out, pour into you. It's a saying that says, if you're the smartest person in the room, that means you're in the wrong room. And I disagree with that saying so much. Because if you are the smartest person in the room, who's to say it's not your turn to pour back into the people in that room and take some of those people to the next room with you? But instead, the world tells you, if you're not the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And last time I checked, all the smartest people and the richest people in the world, they have left us in a certain situation, and we're looking at them like, how can you do this? We got people out there that's worth $300 billion. They can change the dynamics, but you told them to leave the room. I'm telling you now, if you're the smartest person in the room, that doesn't mean you necessarily need to leave the room. You need to help those in that room that want and need your help, because let's be honest, not everybody's going to want or need your help. Some people are comfortable not moving their feet. They're comfortable being procrastinators, but there are those in that room that need you to pour into them the same way people pour back into you. But I want you to understand, because you said it and you hit the nail on the head earlier. You have to pour back into yourself. You cannot continue to pour back into others with an empty jug. Once you're empty, you have nothing left to pour. So you have to remember to continue to pour back into yourself. And that all started, you know how that started? That started with what you said in the beginning of this. Presence over presence.
Yeah.
Because what people don't realize, many of us, we hold on to the baggage from our past while trying to look at our future, but we're not living in the present to help those around us that need us to pour into them. So let go of the baggage you got from your past. Stop staring so far into the future. There's no problem having that plan, that blueprint for where you want to go, but don't just look so far that you're not in the present, pouring into those and pouring into yourself to help you get to that next level. Now, I don't know if everybody out there knows. I will ramble on until the 33rd of Neverary. I can go. I will go. But Kenny, you said something about living in your purpose and leaving the job. You already told us the one hat, coach. You left that job, wife. Hey, your support system said they had your back. And tell your whole wife, you got a wife and 10 kids. So tell your football team, I said, thank you for supporting you, because they need people like you out in the world to live in your purpose. And so you put on that hat of now all of a sudden credit restoration because of what you went through. But Ernest kind of let it sneak out on you when he chimed in on the comments. And you said it earlier. And when you said it the first time, I was gonna ask you, like, hey man, can it go ahead and bust a rap for me? Bust out singing or something, because you brought up the music. And we're not gonna let, because you said you started in the church, so I can imagine what kind of music you grew up listening to. I can imagine when you said coaching in the church, the same way when you went to that conference and came back and you looked at those people and you was like, what you gonna do with yourself? What you got next? And you like, they just go home and do nothing. So I know when you go home at the end of the day, you just can't do nothing. You coach people throughout the day. You got critical restoration throughout the day. Wonder what happens with the music. So now I'm curious to know how you touching people's soul through melody. And I'm talking about melodies from heaven.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Don't get me going. We'll start having church. Go ahead. I want to hear about the music side, man.
So with the music side, oh man, where do I start? So music started. I mean, I was young, super young. I think I started writing when I was 10. There's more so like poetry and stuff like that. And then my brother, shout out to my big brother, he found some of my writing, and he was like, "Bro, you're actually talented." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." I really didn't know, if I'm being honest, And then so he was a rapper. He was into Tupac, so of course I got into Tupac.
Who wasn't into Tupac?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So my mama would only let me listen to certain songs. Dear Mama.
Hold on, I'm sorry, I gotta laugh because my mama is on here, and we used to go in and please let me listen to it. Your mama and my mama must be friends, sisters, something, yes. Sisters in Christ or something, because I could not listen. Go ahead.
She was okay with like Dear Mama and Keep Your Head Up, but when she heard some of the other stuff, she said, "That ain't the same boy on that song." I said, but the influence was there nonetheless. Like his passion, his ability to capture and narrate the world around him was like super, super inspirational to me. Long story short, by the time I was 15, I had started my own group. This was in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Shout out to I had to throw that in there. Green Bay.
We're gonna skip that. We're gonna edit that part.
No, don't edit that. Don't edit that. But so we had started a group. Thought that was gonna be a thing. Fast forward. To just keep that short, that didn't go where I thought it was going to go, and then I get introduced to someone named Jesus, and even though I was in the church, it was just an activity until that point in my life, and then it became real to me. My faith became real. Went from the faith of my grandparents to my own faith, and I, at the time, didn't really have a framework or a point of reference to mix my rap with my faith. So I thought they didn't go together. And then so fast forward years later, and basically God was like, "Who told you that?" And I was just sitting there looking real goofy because somebody asked me like, "How come you don't do music no more?" And I was like, "Oh, I got saved. I can't really do that no more." And they was like, And then who told you that? And I was like, that's a good question. I don't know where I got that from. Like,
that was obviously before you heard of people like Lecrae or anything like that.
Lecrae wasn't out. Yeah, we had best we had was Toby Mac with DC Talk, and then we had Gospel Gangsters.
Yep.
And then that was kind of it back then.
It was.
And Gospel Gangsters was really kind of only accepted on the strength of Kirk Franklin, and Kirk Franklin was tiptoeing. And folks
he still is tiptoeing.
Yeah, they weren't sure how they felt about Kirk, but there definitely was not a culture. Fast forward, then you got like doggone Cross Movement, killing it with Cross Movement. you had a Fanatic and Ambassador and all of them cats,
Yep.
and then they introduced The Truth, and then they introduced Lecrae, and it was a wrap by then. That's
Lecrae killed it for me.
Yeah, he threw the grenade. It was a wrap. And so that's around the time when, you know, I felt like God was dealing with me on that. I ended up forming a group, Catalyst for Christ. That's what Mr. Ernest was over there talking about. Matter of fact, I should have had that shirt, that picture ready, because we had the whole I am a catalyst, join the movement, which was about and being a catalyst is really still part of my DNA, and so it's about, if you know what a catalyst is, it's a trigger agent.
Yep.
It's what causes the reaction, and so it's what changes something to the next phase of it or next stage. And so that's basically been the essence of everything. I wrestled, Ernest, you're gonna probably laugh at this, but I wrestled with actually just using that in my credit restoration. It was still gonna be like C4C, but it's like Catalyst for Credit or something like that. I don't think I don't know. Some people might.
It might be better you stuck with the WG brand.
Yeah, it's a little bigger than, but there's still gonna be C4C. I was like, nah, I think that's but my goal in everything that I do has been to have an impact, right? To go into a situation, and when I leave, it has been changed for the better. That has been something that God instilled in me around that same time when I was 19 about purpose. Because I wrestled with that. So as a writer, here's something that's, so not only do I write songs, but I also used to write short stories and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
In school, we had an assignment. It's a writing assignment, one of my best classes, but they wanted us to write not fiction, but realism. Basically, where did we see ourselves in the next 10 years? I failed the assignment because I really had a block, right? I really did not see myself making it to 25 years old, which is just crazy.
That wasn't crazy. That wasn't crazy.
It was based on the environment and based on the blinders that I had been, that had been presented to me. I could not see beyond that. My vision was impaired.
Exactly. That's the better way to put it.
So you're right. But so based on that, I sat there and I just couldn't come up with. I was like, I could just make something up, but I was like, I want to take it, seriously. And then, so my teacher gave me an extension. I was like, okay, cool. So round 2, I sat there and I cried. I cried because I was just like, I really don't have a vision for my life. I'm like, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like so it rocked me. So at 19, and we talked about this, a transitional point in my life where, I thought, okay, I'm a man now. 19, that's, you kind of like 19 isn't really a number that people talk about. Like 18 is kind of a check mark, and then 21.
Yep.
But 19 years old, I just thought that certain things would be established. I had a good job. I had gone to trade school. I was making good money, but I didn't feel like I had purpose. And so part of my 18 to 19, I was just wilding. And then part of it, I had a very memorable encounter where I went to, I was visiting my grandparents in Arkansas. And I
was coming back to it. Go ahead. Hey, it's better than Green Bay.
Listen, that was a good timing because I don't want. Listen, one thing I promise, I'm not gonna cry on camera or none of that type of stuff. I said, nah, it's too early in my career. I can't let people see me with the ugly cry and all that stuff. So, but there was a real emotional experience, man. I'm visiting my grandparents, and I'm sitting there. The preacher was talking about how we got to take care of our youth, the children are our future, one of those type of messages. And so he's like, I want all the men to come up here and pray for our youth, pray for our children. And in that exact moment, I'm saying to myself, do I go up there with the men or do I go up there with the children? The preacher points at me directly, says, God said to tell you to come up here with the men. And I was just like, I mean, you can't get, I mean, can't get much. Okay. Okay. That's how let me get on up here. And,
Yep.
So I go up there, still kind of conflicted. 3 kids in front of me. I lay hands on the first kid. And like I was telling you, like I saw, I mean, as vivid as I could, just like as if it was in a room with a projector, I saw reels of their life playing in front of me.
Wow.
And it was just like I had never, you know what I mean? I was just like, okay, I was like, okay. Second child, same thing. And it was intense. I won't get into that, but it was like heavy stuff. Third child, and I'm crying. It's a wrap. And by then my grandma comes up, she sees me like just breaking or whatever. She hugs me. And I was just like, okay. So I'm on the floor just crying and stuff. And in that moment, basically, that's where God was talking to me about the same struggles that I had about purpose and about not knowing my future and about not knowing why I was here and the value of who I am. Those are the same things that I'm going to help other people discover. I'm going to be able to speak into people's life and show them the treasure that's inside of them. I'm going to be able to guide them. I'm going to be able to coach them. I'm going to be able to help them to walk in that. And so that's when it started. I still didn't understand it fully. I'm not going to pretend like I got up and just was on fire and took off, but that was the catalyst moment for me.
Wow.
That changed, how I went forward with everything else that I did. And so throughout my 20s, I was involved with several different ministries, to include the one that I started, which was Catalyst for Christ. We were traveling to different churches. We was on the verge of being up there with a couple of name-worthy people. Real life, we were really on the brink of some things, and I'm so grateful for the experience. It was impactful, and I loved it. I want to throw this in there. This fits here. I also had some struggles though, because I was doing a lot of volunteering for stuff, which had to do with my perspective on finances, and on my gifting. And some of that was, from church experiences and stuff like that. I felt like, just do everything for free, do everything for God, and it'll just somehow work its way out. That was quite irresponsible in retrospect. And so looking back, there were obligations and duties that I had to my family that I was not fulfilling, in the name of ministry, which I now, again, can admit. And so anyone that I'm talking to, I would encourage them, hey, no, that's not necessarily how to, you can't just do everything for free when your baby needs diapers and, bills got to pay. You know what I'm saying?
You just made me think of something.
Come on with it.
Cause you've been chiming in and you've been hitting nuggets all night. And I know it because everybody out there from Goldie talking about preach. You already saw Frankie already on you talking about it was fire till you brought up them Green Bay. But you went through and told us about your passion. You told us for all these 3 different hats you're wearing. You told us about your presence, because you're just saying about your family, like you're giving your gift away, which God wants us to. But you got to look at be in the present to know that I still have to take care of my family, even though you are operating in your purpose, because it's not financially right. Because you the business of the budget man, you're the credit restoration. You just told us about the presence. You told us about all the passion you got for your gift and all this helping you live in your purpose. You just told people out there right now that they took out the wrong PPP loan. You got the wrong PPP loan in your life, and you wonder why you can't live in your purpose. Because you're not living with your passion of what you want to do, what God put you here to do. You're not being in the present that God wants you to be because you're holding on to the baggage from the past, trying to get to the future, and you're not living in the purpose that God wants you to live in. Wrong PPP loan. You need to come on back over to this side and join us with Mr. Kenny Wright Gross and get on the right PPP loan. Because that's what he does with budget and credit restoration. That's what he does with his music. That's what he does with his passion and purpose coaching. I'm sorry, I had to chime in there because
I dig it. I'm feeling it.
You dropped so much right there, but it's well, let me rewind because I don't want that to happen. Before I go any further, before I say anything else, I want you. Can you take a minute or two just to leave everybody out there? Drop something that they need to know. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. Take that minute or two and drop something for them to know. Let's get them back on the right PPP loan.
Man, if I was going to give a summary, the word would probably be stewardship. And the reason for that is because, like, in all the conversations that I've had, my oldest son, KJ, he's phenomenal, man. Like, he's gonna take the WG brand beyond. I mean, it's gonna be beautiful. But I talked to him about stewardship, and when you dissect that word, stewardship is connected to kingship. Mm-hmm. And so, if we are to be kings in our realm, right? We are lowercase kings under the big K, capital K king, right? Everything that we do is management, stewardship, it's kingship. So your finances falls under that, your family falls under that, everything falls under that umbrella. So for me, it is very improbable and illogical to call myself a king or to call myself really a man or head of household if I'm not managing all of those things. Exactly. So I guess if I had to summarize it, that's how everything came in. My gift, I want to steward that. I had songs that I was sitting on, I recorded them, and I was like, well, I don't know how I feel about putting it out because of X, Y, and Z reasons. And so nope, it's time, put it out. So I did that. I have, there are books, which we talked about, that are inside, and I said I was going to write. I'm going to do it. I will not leave this earth with all of these things inside of me. They will all, to the best of my ability, with everything within me, I will leave all of this here because that's the purpose, right? I'm going to leave here empty. And so so this year, I just said, I'm going to do it. Everything that I have ever thought creatively or that is connected with my purpose, every bit of it, I'm going to put it out in some way. So that's it. If I was going to summarize everything, when you leave this earth, leave here empty, leave here knowing that you left it all on the field, that every bit of your purpose had the opportunity to manifest. And it wasn't held back because of you not being a good steward, or it wasn't held back because you didn't have the faith, or you didn't have, whatever it took to execute it. So I never thought I'd be doing, credit restoration and budgeting and things like that, but it fit, and it was part of my purpose, even though I didn't see it previously. But now I understand that it's just about stewardship. And so I'm going to teach those things to everybody that I can get the opportunity to sit down with. But yeah, that's my best summary if I can do that.
And you summed it up nicely. You dropped nuggets in there when you did it as well. But in order for you to continue to give out this gift to everybody, can you please tell the audience how can they get in contact with you?
Probably the easiest way is just hit me up on Facebook. It's Kenny Wright Gross. I also have my the WG brand business page on Facebook that I'm building. And then, I mean, I don't mind even if you want to just call or text me 414-676-4938. That's me, real person. I'm gonna talk with you, and if I can be a blessing, if I can add value, then I will do so more than willingly. And that's it.
Man, Kenny, man, you have been a blessing for us tonight. Now,
I appreciate you, man.
I hope you know we bringing you back on this show. we coming back on this show. So We appreciate everything, man. We hope you continue nothing but blessings to you. Continue living in your purpose, passionate on to others. Don't go nowhere because I want to talk to you right after the show. But until then, my brother, I'll see you on the other side, man.
Thank you so much for having me, brother. I appreciate you. Truly.
Man, Kenny came through. He said he don't normally swing 1,000%, but he was knocking it out the park tonight. He killed it tonight, man. We could not have gotten that information from no other person. Man, as you see right now, continue to tune into this channel. We thank you so much for joining in. We'll be back next week, next Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. We're going to have another guest coming, knocking more stuff out the park, dropping nothing but nuggets to you, because we want you to start using your gift to live in your purpose, because that's our whole goal in life. We want you to what? Live in your purpose, with purpose, on purpose. Remember that until next week. Until then, I'll see you all next week.